Alright, now we're going to work on the shock tower, the camber links, and the mount it to the transmission with the body mount. That's all I'm going to do in this video. Well, I might mount the rear arms. Yep, I just may mount the rear arm. I might do the whole rear suspension. We'll see how it goes. So, according to the manual here, the shock tower sitting up with the nubs away from you. You want to put the flare side right here. See how that one's bigger diameter than that one? You want to put it on the outside, facing the same direction as the standoffs on that shock tower. So they'll go like that. Let me get the screws for them. It's going to be in one of these rear suspension bags. There's the bearings, there's the hardware. They are going to be the 3mm M3 or 15mm M3s, which are these right here. They're going to be the flat-headed 15mm in length. Make a setup change here so that I have some good lighting over here where I'm working at, so when I'm showing y'all the part, y'all can see what it is. So I might get a little bouncy here. I might have a cord in frame. There we go. Y'all see that better now? So I'm going to leave that bag there. It's going to be a 2.5mm. It's going to go in the link. Make sure the bigger flat's facing away and goes in the bottom hole right here on the shock tower. So thread that in there. I have no idea why it's so long. Maybe if you want to put a nut on the back of it or something. I do not know. Let me check on the rear of my slash that I currently run and see if they stick out that far. Yeah, they do. That's a little odd to me, but guess it is what it is, right? Now I'm going to find this other one. In this bag of hardware. There it is, staring me right in the face. Put it through the link. Bottom hole, flat facing away. Another good thing is they have the link measurement here, which I should have checked it before I put them on here. Well, I can still kind of do it right now. It's supposed to be at 82.5mm, and that's what it is from end to end. There's completed rear shock tower. So now, flip to the next page. we're going to mount the rear shock tower to the transmission case here. And it's going to go with the links facing the transmission, like so. And it's going to take two M3 by 12 millimeters button head. So I believe it's this one right here. Nope, that one's 15. Come back here, drop in. And 3 by 12. There's one of them. Get the other one that matches. You usually have a buddy system. I believe that one's it. There we go. Put my 2.5 back over here. Grab the 2.0. Put it through the hole here on the shock tower. Hold the link out just like that. Start this one. Then I will get my other one. Put it through the hole. Shove it down in there. Screw it into the other shock hole. Or the shock mount hole. Tower mount hole. Right down in there. See it right here? That's where I'm screwing that down on both sides. Till it's tight. You don't want to over tighten it. And then make sure this one over here is tight, which is right there. And there's the shock tower on the axle. Now we need to get the rear body mount, which is right here in the rear suspension bag. And it will go on this side just like this. I usually try to run my rear body mount as high as possible, because on my current one I have an issue with it rubbing. And the 4 screws that hold it are going to be these 2.5 M2.5 by 12 millimeter cap screws. Should be a 4th one here. There it is. What I'll do, I'll just put it in the bottom hole here. Hold the part with it. Start it in the bottom hole there on the shock tower. Start the screw. Grab the next one. Same thing, but I put on the top, the second hole from the bottom on the other side into the top hole on the shock tower. Just like so. Gotta excuse the rumbling and everything. It's kind of raining right now where I'm at. You can hear it to the walls. Why do you not want to start? Sometimes it will give you a little bit of a headache starting. Like that one don't want to start, so kind of clean the hole a little bit. Probably should use my body reamer to do that. but I'll use the X-Acto. I'm gonna go ahead and try to start the screw in here and start the threads with just the screw, like that. Get them at least started. Pull the screw back out. Put it in the holes. Line everything up. And start the screw in there, just like that. Get that one good and started in there. Then I'm gonna put the other two in there and start them. I'm thinking right now, from here on out, I might use my electric screwdriver, but on low torque setting. So I have this electric screwdriver, got it on number 2 torque setting. It's pretty low, but I'll go forward, push it into it to activate it. Then when it hits, I just let go of the driver. That way I don't take a risk of stripping the screw hole. Then I'll take my hand driver and just finish tightening them up. You don't want one that goes too fast, because you take a chance of overheating the plastic and stripping the threads. This one here that was given to me for Christmas, it's a Dremel. It's pretty nice. It really don't go too fast, but it gets the job done. Now, next spot has me turning the transmission this way, grabbing my rear arms, which are going to be these 2 green ones. I'm going with the green ones instead of the stock ones. And I'm going to have right arm, left arm. Now here is where I'll be using, that's the fronts, STRC captured hinge pins. Comes with the hinge pin. Supposed to have a lock nut in here. It don't show. I don't see one. Alright, I'll have to find me a lock nut for it then. So I'll come down here in my handy dandy bin of nuts and bolts. Now we'll find a nylon lock nut that fits these. Bless me. And from what it's looking like, none of these in here are going to be the right thread pitch. Let's see what I have over here. See, this is where having screw kits come in handy. I had to think about when I bought these pins. They gotta be the last set I bought came with nuts. This set obviously does not. So I'm gonna get 4 of these out because I'm gonna have to do something for the front when we get to that point. And I will put them right here. Mother mount nut. Put that to the side. Now, put my right side one in. And if I remember correctly, they can both face the back. The nut part anyways. So I'll put this in like that. Put my captured hinge pin in. Put the nut on the back side. And I will take my 2.5 handy dandy T-wrench, find the one that fits. And tighten it down. Oh. That T-wrench obviously don't have it. I think I do have a nut driver here that might be the size. There we go. A nut driver. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna put it in my nut driver in the electric wrench and turn it by hand over here. Turn it down till it's tight. Make sure it flows freely. So it's probably a little too tight. Back it off a hair. Because you want that arm just to flop freely like that. Where there's one, there's two. Repeat for the other side. It's going to be your right side, your left side. So you want to make sure you got them in the right orientation. Put it through the arm, through the transmission case. Put the nut on. Tighten down. Rinse and repeat. Oh, there we go. Hold these arms up and the axles up. So you want to make sure they flop freely. Now that we have that part done, we'll put that back over here. Now we will put this to the side. We will get our stub axles and our axles. I'm gonna pull these out and hang them over here. Later I'll put them in my pit bag so that in the future for this one or the next car or my other car I will have spares. I'm gonna get our bearings, our axle carriers out of this rear suspension bag. There's the other one. We can run the RPM ones. We can run the RPM axle carriers, but right now I'm just running these stock ones. So let me open this bag. Let's dump it out here. Pop bearing in the back side. Pop bearing in the front side. Make sure fully seated on both sides. I just like to push down on it on my table. Or there's one, there's two, repeat. So put one there, one there. See, now that is not fully seated right there. So what I'll do, like I said, put it on my table, push down. Now they're fully seated. There's one, there's two. Take the axle, put it through, take your little drive pin right here, put it through the hole in the stub axle. Well, first, you need to put the spacers, thrust washers. You have two different sizes. You got the thicker ones, then these thinner ones. The thicker ones go on the outside, so I need a thinner one on the inside right here. Come back here on the axle. Put it through the hub carrier. Then drive pin, or then the thicker one. Then the drive pin. See? I've been doing this a while, I still get ahead of myself. Now you gotta try to keep that drive pin centered. Make sure this slot right here in this hex goes over that drive pin. And you want to push them together till you hear it click. Like that. Now it's seated on there. It ain't going nowhere. Spins freely. That's one done. And as I've been saying, where there's one, there's two. So repeat. The 0.3 washer. Axle carrier. The 0.8 washer. Drive pin. Hex. Over drive pin. Push till it clicks. Like so. Now I have two axles. We'll reintroduce the transmission case here. This is facing the front of the car. Front of the slash is facing away from me. Now I will slide in these shorter, which I'm going to get some of the capture hinge pins for these, but for now I'm going to use these. They are M3 28mm screw pin. I got the threads down here and this pin down here. So what you'll do is find the rotation of the axle, because you got thin slot, thick slot. Same way inside the axle. So you line them up, slide it on there, and you will go in the bottom hole. There's two holes on the side of the axle. I'll show you on this other one. Let me get this in there first. Oh, the concentration. You got a top hole and a bottom hole. It goes in the bottom hole. Now you take your 2.5. That's my 2.0. 2.5. Throw that in there. It's not going to really bother it later on down the road when I do the hinge pins for the rear or the outers. If that's threaded right there. But for now, for build purposes, I'm doing it this way. Now we will need the M3 by 15mm button cap screw. Again, you can check against here. You want to put the flat of the screw right here, where the threads meet the flat, on 0, and measure it that way. So I put that on 0. That's 15. So I need the matching one to this, which could be one of the other ones. There's several of them down here. And you will mount it, the upper camber link, through this way. I will start it by hand. And then I'm going to go with my nut driver, or my electric screwdriver. Screw it in, just till it touches. Finish it off by hand. And I'll say it again, repeat. This time I'll do it where this side's facing y'all, so y'all can see. Line the axles up. Pin goes in with the head of the screw facing away from the front of the vehicle. So it goes in, Goes in the bottom hole. Kill them all. Oh. In the bottom hole. 2-5. Thread it in. Just like so. Screw up here. Give them a 2.0. Mount it. Or start the threads if I can get it. Kind of hard to do it at this angle. As Spencer Klein would say, that's what she said. Start the threads. Run it in. Not touch out with the laser. Tighten it up by hand. There's that part finished. Still drops freely. You're good. Now we're going to turn it over because we're going to need the bottom side now. Get my tools out of the way. And we're grabbing the chassis brace, the rear chassis brace, which looks like this. And it will go right here. It almost keys in on its own. Right there. You'll take these M4 by 12 millimeter countersunk screws. And they are 2.5. And we'll thread them into the bottom transmission. Always, it's a good rule of thumb to kind of start each screw before you tighten them down. That way you don't have no risk of a misalignment. You don't have no really too much of a risk of cross threading them, but you can still cross thread them. Now we'll get the M3 12 millimeters, goes in the other two right here. And they are a 2.0. Start them. Run them in with the electric. Just till it touches. Switch out to my 2.5. Just till it touches. When you start feeling a little bit of resistance on it, let off. Let it spin itself. A little less of a risk. But when you see it touch it, just let off and let it do its thing. If you have any of the trigger style like this, just run it down until you see it almost touch, then let off the trigger. Then we'll take hand wrenches and finish them off. Like so. See? Less turning. Like an old man once told me, work smarter, not harder. Now, it's asking me to turn it this way. Grabbing the rear bumper mount, which is this piece, but I am running the blue one. Comes with shiny silver Phillips head screws. I say chunk them. Who uses Phillips screws anymore? And it will slide on just like this. Now you will have a M40 screw that goes in right here. An M30 screw goes in right here. So the two long ones go in on this side. The longest one goes here. These are going to be the longest ones in the rear suspension kit. So Got your M40, your M3 40 millimeter, your M3 30 millimeter. 40 goes on the lowest screw hole. 30 goes right there, just like so. Give them a 2.0. Put my 2.0 back in. Run them in. Just till they touch. Grab your hand driver. Always finish them off with the hand driver. Don't overdo them with the electric screwdriver. Just finish them off with that. Now we'll have one of the 12 millimeter screws. M3s. Put it on there, make sure it's 12 millimeter. Like so. That's 12 millimeter. And we'll go on the opposite side of the 30 millimeter. And I've learned this the hard way from replacing so many of these, that the short one goes on this side, both long ones go on this side, because I've put them the other way around and couldn't ever get the short one, the short screw right here, to thread in over here, right here. So screw that in. That's done. Last thing left is the rear bumper. My battery's getting kind of low, so I'm having to hurry up and do this. That's the last bits in this box, or bag. Now how I like to do these rear bumpers, and it shows it here, is put the rear bumper brace on here, and it's going to be the M3 by 15 screws. So start it, get the other one, start it, oh, come on you booger, start it, and then run it in. Let it spin. Let it spin. Take your hand driver, finish it off. Now, to put it on, it will be these, four M4 shoulder screws. Or not M4, M3. I'll just start with the top one. Grab my 2.5. Just kind of hold the bumper up here like this. Start to screw. And don't drop your tools. Start that one. Go to the other side. Start it. Now you got a pivoting point. Then start a bottom one. Like so. Put your other bottom one in. Run it in. Now, for the sake of battery life, I am going to run it in with the electric screwdriver till it hits. Like so. I want to quit saying that. Like so. run it in. Finish off with the hand driver. Do both sides. Make sure you get them tight. Not over tight, but tight. And that will complete your whole rear section. I'm going to take these extra screws that were for what were they for? Doo-doo. Huh. I skipped no screws, so guess there's extras. Everything that was put in has extras. It must be, I bet you what them are. We'll look on the next page, which I'm not going to do it. Yep. Then we're going to be the rear shocks, which I got a different idea for the rear shocks here. So the M15 ones are going to go down here. I'm just going to put them in for now, just so I know where they're at. Which I don't think, I'll have to look. I may have what I'm talking about I'm going to need for the top mount. Let me look here. Yes, I do. Just 2 of them too. Need to buy more. What I have here is not a failure to communicate, because I just couldn't remember if I had any left over. I'm going to get some more to do the fronts, but these are M3 by 30 millimeter button head screws. And what I'll do with these, which again, I'll have to find some nuts and washers for them, which I got a screw kit there. I will, and this is just kind of a little racer hack that we had started to allow at Shaw's. Run it in to the back side. Get off there. Run that all the way in and through. Like so. Oh, that's warm. See, that's what I'm talking about. But on this part, this is where, let me see if I can find it real quick. I know I got some somewhere. Anyways, what I'm thinking of is chapstick. A good kit builder trick is take chapstick, put on the threads of your screw here. Let me get to where I can focus it. Hold it a weird way, John. Put on the threads right here. That way when you use an electric screwdriver or you're threading through like this, you don't heat up them threads. I know I have some somewhere. I just don't remember where. That's how long it's been since I've built a kit. Anyways, I'm going to run this last one in, and that's going to be the end of this video. So what I'm going to do, just go and stop, let the threads pull off. Oh, my driver's dead. Gonna be by hand. Lovely, lovely. Probably need to put my driver on the charger. So, you know what? That's why I have another one. Ta-da! Run it through just like so. What I'll try to do, feel the threads, yes, they're a little warm, so I'm going to wait. Go a little bit, wait, go a little bit, wait. And this one's probably a little louder. Go to touches. Yep, this is the one that runs off my cats, Harbor Freight. They don't like the noise of it. Take my hand driver, finish it off. On that note, there's a completed rear section with extra parts as far as pins, which I'm not really going to use these pins. I have an extra rear bumper carrier, or rear bumper mount. And that's that done. By next video, I'll have the motor broke in. I'm going to set this right here so I know to buy more. I'll have the motor broke in, and I will install it in here, which I'll show you how I set my mesh and all that on it. Which I'm probably not going to do the mesh because I'm going to change my gearing to the gearing that I run. Which, if you buy the RTR kit, it's the gearing that comes in the box. But on that note, be you, be true, be honest. Give me a like, guys. Subscribe. Peace.